what people build does not end with them. It's passed on. We value moments with go-getters, bold dreamers and believers. Different paths, different rhythms, with one shared belief that financial freedom is within reach. For 40 years, we've made lives better and fueled Uganda's economy. Through careful investments, we have supported businesses, created jobs, and backed our nation. To us, it's more than saving. It's believing in effort, in patience, in possibility. It's making lives better. We believe in you, in us, and in Uganda.
NSSF, 40 years of making lives better.
Are you an elite runner, fitness enthusiast, or adventure seeker? Get ready for a run in paradise at the Fort Portal City Marathon on July 18th, 2026. Experience the beauty, culture, and energy of Uganda's tourism city for only 60,000 Ugandan shillings. Register now at www.fortcitymarathon.com or dial *272*7#. Mwije tugende toro for a run in paradise in partnership with the Tourism Ministry, Capital Radio, Rock Telecom, Castle Light, Jeans Club, Kahive, and Toro Kingdom.
Tukulisaayo mukuumulamu okwo ekitundu ekyokubiri tukitandise ne minisita wa gavumenti ez'ebitundu Balaam Bargahara ayingidde mu nkaayana z'abakulembeze mu disitulikiti y'e Jinja wakati w'abannabyabufuzi n'ab'ebyekikugu. Balaam ayimiriza Kaawo Lilian Nakamatte ku mulimu w'okumala wiiki 2 okunoonyereza kusooke kukolebwe ku buli bw'enguzi n'obulyake. Bw'abadde mu lutuula lwa leero olw'enjawulo ku kitebe kya disitulikiti, Balaam alagidde Nakamatte ayimirizibwe era ensonga n'azikwasa akakiiko akanoonyereza ku nguzi n'obulyake mu maka g'obwa pulezidenti.
Health officer to be acting health officer to coordinate with the NGOs when there was a substantive person in that position, yes or no?
I don't appoint. I assign responsibilities.
Jabigweredde nga Minisita Barugahara asazeewo nti akulira emirimu egy'ekikugu mu kitundu kino adde ebbali okumala ssabbiiti 2. Akakiiko akavunaanyizibwa mu kunoonyereza ku balyake mu yafeesi y'omukulembeze w'eggwanga katunula mu nsonga ze.
What I've noticed, without even wasting time, you are not fit to be in this district. And I'm going to ask the Permanent Secretary to recall you to allow an independent investigation by State House Anti-Corruption Unit, whom I've moved with here. I want them to spend a week in Jinja. I don't want to take the statement read by him. I want them to take statement from each person mentioned in that report.
Balaam neera alagidde omubaka wa pulezidenti mu kitundu kino okujja bunnambiro emmotoka eteeberezebwa okuba nga teri mu mateeka nga yeeyambisibwa Central District eno ey'e Jinja.
We give chairman a brand new vehicle. All chairpersons.
He has his, he has one for health.
Let him surrender immediately.
Departments.
Kakati abalimi b'ebinazi mu ggwanga naddala mu bitundu gye bidda obulungi bakubiriziddwa okujjumbira okusimba ekirime kino ate bateeke ku mwanjo enkola ezitakontana na butonde bwansi. Bino bibadde mu kuggulawo omusomo ogunamala wiiki 2. Ogunamala wiiki ennamba ku ttendekero lya National Farmers Leadership Center MPG ogwabakwatibwako era abakulembeze mu kkunga abalimi okulima ebinazi mu disitulikiti ey'Ekyotera.
Mujjumbire okusimba ekirime eky'ebinazi okwongera kunyingiza mu maka nga mugoberera n'enkola zonna ezikuuma obutonde bw'ensi. Obubaka buno bubadde bwa buvunaanyizibwa ku kugula n'okugaba kontrakita mu minisitule y'ebyobulimi n'obulunzi Medi Lutaaya. Agambye nti disitulikiti ezisinga okuddamu ebinazi zirinaanye ennyanja n'ategeeza nti singa abalimi tebagoberera nkola ezikuuma obutonde eggwanga lya kukosebwa. Wabula asabye abalimi mu disitulikiti okuli Kalangala, Buvuma, Kyotera, Sangobe, Bugiri n'endala okwettanira okulima ebinazi kubanga mu myaka 4 gyokka omulimi atandika okufuna mu ntuuyo ze.
naye olukusoolo nema lwetuwadde olukusoolo luliko obukwakulizo era nema eyagala okulaba nti ensimba yaffe etuukiriza obukwakulizo obwo era tugenda kubeerawo ne kyetuyita environmental audit. Tugenda kuleeta bakalabalaba b'obutonde bakakase nti ddala obukwakulizo nema bwe yatuteekerawo okusimba ebinazi mu nsimba yaffe tubifolowinga.
Bino Lutaaya abyogeredde mu kuggulawo omusomo ogunaamala wiiki ku ttendekero lya National Farmers Leadership Center MPG ogw'obukiiko obw'obutonde okuva ekyotera n'ekiruubirwa eky'okukyusa endowooza zaabwe. Ono asuubizza nti aba National Palm Oil Project mu kaweefube ow'okulambika abalimi b'ebinazi batondawo obukiiko okukubiriza abantu okwenyigira mu kirime kino nga bagoberera n'okukyusa endowooza ku binazi. Akulira abakozi ku disitulikiti ekyotera Tumukisha Muhammad n'amyuka akulira ettendekero lya National Farmers Leadership Center Hillman Edison nabo baliko obubaka bwe bawadde.
We deeply appreciate your commitment to strengthening the capacity of our staff and the local farmers and environment committees to effectively contribute to Uganda's socio-economic transformation.
Have a clear message on yes, we can do everything ourselves. There is a small water source in your village. You have enjoyed water from that place since you were born. But now it is drying up, it is getting dirty, and you still wait for Museveni.
Ndisalo Nkasibante, ekampiringisa mu district MPG.
Mu byemizannyo ttiimu 8 ze zayiseewo okuvuganya mu mpaka z'omupiira ogw'ekikopo ky'ensi yonna ku mutendera oguddirira ez'akamalirizo. Wabula omupiira ogwasambiddwa olunaku olw'eggulo Argentina bwe yabadde ebbinkana ne Egypt gwalese abawagizi nga beewuunya engeri Argentina gye yasobodde okuwangula Egypt goal 3-2 mu kaseera akatono ennyo.
Dabyeko ate zonna nga Argentina yazibbye. Messi kangendeyo eyo. Messi si goat. Messi is the court. Cheat of all time. Si goat wabula cheat of all time court. Lwaki system bwe tamuyamba talina kyawangula. Ne World Cup eyokubiri baagala jimuwa. Omubbi bamukwate omubbi oyo.
Nzo omu ku batakkiriza ku bya kwekwasa bya barefari. Yes, refari asobola okusala omupiira naye webanga obadde ttiimu olina goolo 2 ku bwereere dakika ziri 7-8 nze ndowooza okwekwasa refari ate kiba kirala. Yes, refari asobola okusala omupiira asobola okukola decision ekyusa omupiira but nja ku example Egypt nga tenateba goolo eyokubiri yateba goolo ya Ziko alyoka ajjemu essaati ne bamuwa ne yellow card etabaliddwa mu build up wabaddewo foul ku lunaku olulala foul ezo ziyita because baalinnye Martinez owa Manchester United mu build up eri ng'agezaako kulumba nakola olulumba awo paka goal we yanywedde. Olusi bazi reviewing goal ezo referee n'agamba not sufficient enough neita. Ne ku luno babadde unlucky kinzo gisa nti babadde unlucky goal bagisazizaamu. Osanga maybe otwani tusine ku Argentina ogeza kudda mu game ku goal 3 ku bwereere maybe bani badde bakola ki bongera okunafuwa. So kituufu referee asobola omupiira naye saaga nnyo kyekwasa ku lunaku lwajjo kubanga Argentina Egypt obadde n'omupiira guno mu ngalo goal 2 ku bwereere. Senegal naye tesobola kwekwasa abarefari yalina omupiira guno goal 2 ku bwereere bagikube goal 2 mu dakiika 3 bagenze mu extra time ne bagikuba ne penalty mu mupiira guggwa.
Sijja gamba nti Afrika bagibba naye tukiiza omuntu aba akusinga banya kyakola ki kyaba kusingako kuba tetujja gamba nti Messi goal gye yakubiye yabadde enfu mwena mwagulamu omupiira tetujja gamba nti gye bakubiye omuntu eyasoose nti yabadde enfu kubanyera tukola ki bambeekwasa nti va yalabyeko side emu noti yakirabye naye tudde mu mbeera eya bulijjo twali tukirabyeko wano empiira egize zibeerawo gya Uganda Cup KCC yalwana ogindi wa stadium nekulembera iwale goal 2 ku 0 dakika 8 mu meka nejja level situation nekola ki nebulanya bakola substitute ne bakola substitute bakama bakocha feza bocha ne batukugwa 2-2 sana twaya mbunya natujja mu ki mu muzannyo atujja teka kwali bukanti bakola ki twebakira ku mulimu bafirika embeera yaabwe nti game management mwezi eddakiika ekola ki kyova ateri muntu yenna awagidde ttiimu ya Afirika ng'ekulembedde goolo 2-0 kazibe eddakiika 7 najja n'agamba nti ttiimu yagobyedde omupiira neva bebaze bakola yembeera eriwo okuba olw'abantu tulabye bagyemu n'amasaati bajubireetinga all of a sudden nekyuka mu ddakiika kuba oli omuzungu tava ku ki
UBC Leero bwe tutyo bwe tulabise ag'olwaleero bwe gatyo bugatambudde otukoze obulungi okutambula naffe nze Shaidat Nassaku ne Elizabeth Nakakoni ku lwa bannaffe abakozesa obubonero tugenda kulekera ab'embeera y'obudde bakutwalirize atakumira mpeera kutukuumira ensula bulungi weraba
obudde bubadde bwa mukalwe nga mwetobeseemu n'obunyogovu naddala mu bitundu eby'omu bukiikaddyo obw'eggwanga lyaffe tukwaniriza ku mbeera y'obudde okuva mu kitongole eky'ebyembeera y'obudde nze Annette Nakimbugwe ekifaananyi eky'ebyembeera y'obudde ku Ssemazinga Africa kiraga Sseruwandula mpewo mu bukiikaddyo asindika empewo ennyinyogovu okuva mu kitundu ekyo ekirimu obunnyogovu ng'ate za mukalwe nga zidda mu bitundu byaffe nga kye kiviiriddeko embeera y'obudde ey'omukalwe n'obunnyogovu mu bukiikaddyo obw'eggwanga lyaffe mu biseera eby'okumakya enkya amasekkati tusuubira obudde okubeera obw'omukalwe awamu ne mu buvanjuba nga mwotwalidde n'obugwanjuba bw'eggwanga awamu n'obukiikakkono obw'eggwanga mu biseera eby'olweggulo neera tusuubira obudde okubeera obw'omukalwe n'ebbugumu ly'empewo erya waggulu okutuuka ku centigrades 28 mu masekkati ag'eggwanga lyaffe ate yo mu buvanjuba era nayo tusuubira ebbugumu ly'empewo erya waggulu okuba ku centigrades 27 mu bitundu eby'omu Buduuda Kapchorwa Mbale ate ebitundu ebyebulunguludde ennyanja Nalubaale tusuubira temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 29 ebisigadde yo tusuubira temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 31 mu bugwanjuba obw'eggwanga nayo tusuubira temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 29 ne 28 mu bitundu ebimu ate ebitundu omuli Kasese tusuubira temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 3 ate yo mu nsozi ez'Ekabaale tusuubira temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 24 mu bukiikakkono obw'eggwanga yo tusuubira temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 33 mu Karamoja embeera y'obudde ey'ebibuga ebimu ebunaayira omuli Amsterdam wasuubirwayo omusana okwaka nga bwe gukubaakuba ne temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 26 ate yo mu Cape Town naye omusana gusuubirwa okwaka nga bwe gukubaakuba ne temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 16 Dubai omusana gusuubirwa okwaka nga bwe gukubaakuba ne temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 42 mu Hong Kong wasuubirwayo enkuba ey'ebiwugiro ne temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 32 ate mu Khartoum omusana gusuubirwa okwaka nga bwe gukubaakuba ne temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 41 ate mu Mexico City wasuubirwayo enkuba ne temperature okutuuka ku centigrades 23 weebale kubeera naffe akaseera kano tulindiire nate nkya obudde bwe bumu weeraba
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Kino kirango kya njawulo eri bammemba ba NRM. Ssaabawandiisi w'ekibiina kya NRM Right Honorable Richard Todwong ategeeza bammemba b'ekibiina mwenna nti enteekateeka z'okulonda abakulembeze ba LC n'obukiiko bw'abakyala ku byalo ne ku miruka kwatandika n'okwewandiisa ko n'okutereeza enkalala z'abalonzi ez'awamu n'ez'enkiiko z'abakyala okuva ku Mande nga 6 okutuuka nga 10 Ogw'omusanvu 2026 nga kino kikolebwa akakiiko k'ebyokulonda ak'eggwanga lyonna. Banna NRM musabiddwa okwetegereza n'okwenyigira obutereevu mu nteekateeka zino. Nga 10 Julayi wajja kubaawo entuula ku byalo ez'okujjuza ebifo mu nkiiko za LC n'okusunsula mu abo abanakwatira ekibiina bendera okuvuganya ku nkiiko z'abakyala. Okuva nga 11 okutuuka nga 14 Julayi wajja kubaawo okulangirira abanakwatira ekibiina bendera mu kulonda kwa LC n'enkiiko z'abakyala. Okusunsula abanaavuganya ku nkiiko za LC n'ez'abakyala kujja kubeera ku magombolola, town council oba ne zi municipali okuva nga 15 okutuuka nga 19 Julayi 2026. Nga 22 Julayi NRM ejja okukuba enkiiko ez'awamu ziyite baraza ez'okunoonyeza abantu baayakalulu abanaavuganya ku bwa LC ne mu nkiiko z'abakyala ku byalo wonna. Olwo nga 23 Julayi kwe kulonda kw'abakiise abataano ku lukiiko lw'abakyala nga tusimba mugongo, so nga okulonda okw'abasentebe b'ebyalo kwakubaawo nga 28 Julayi 2026. Wangaala NRM, wangaala President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
All right, listen up. Colgate is on a mission. It's kind of a big thing. Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
Colgate Charcoal Gentle Clean cleans and polishes teeth for a whiter smile and a naturally fresh and clean mouth. Choose natural. Choose Colgate Charcoal.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
National Environment Sustainability Awards are an annual ceremony in Uganda organized by National Environment Management Authority NEMA to recognize and celebrate outstanding celebrations in environmental sustainability. The third edition was held in June 2006 at the Kampala Serena Hotel under the theme Innovation for Climate Resiliency. Among the categories and notable winners included Climate Smart Agriculture Award, won by Kinyara Sugar Limited, Green Financial Institutions Award, won by Stanbic Bank for its role in protecting the environment and promoting sustainability, Environment, Journalism and Media, where Uganda Broadcasting Corporation Television won the Best in Television category for its excellent programming, dedicated reporting on environment issues and commitment to champion conservation in Uganda, among other categories. In his opening remarks, the Executive Director, NEMA, Dr. Balilega Akankwasa, emphasized that environmental stewardship and economic growth are not mutually exclusive, highlighting the positive trends in environment conservation in Uganda.
Climate resilience can only be achieved when we change the way we do business. It will be achieved through creativity, science, technology, entrepreneurship, responsible leadership, and collective action by all of us. Uganda's environment remains the bedrock of our economy and our well-being. Just hear this. A human being can last 4 to 10 minutes without air. 4 to 10 minutes. And 3 to 7 days without water. 3 to 7 days. And without food, 30 to 60 days, if there is water. So, none of us can actually exist minus environment. And so, to protect the environment is in our selfish interest to protect our own selves. Our forests regulate rainfall. Our wetlands store water, filter pollution, and reduce flooding. Our rivers generate energy. And our biodiversity supports tourism, agriculture, fisheries, and ecosystem sustainability. Protecting these resources is therefore not merely an environment obligation, it's a life existence and economic necessity. And environment degradation must be seen as an existential threat to humanity, and we must address it as such. I'm pleased to report that Uganda continues to make progress on the front of environment management. Forest cover has increased from 9% in 2015 to now 13%, thanks to all the efforts from the partners. Some of them are here. The Roots program has done a lot. There is that it's actually possible. That's the message we take. Wetlands currently occupy 13.9% of Uganda's land surface, and 9.3% of this is intact, providing critical ecological and economic services, and this has improved from just 8.9% that we had in 2015. We still have 4.6% of wetlands under encroachment, and this must be liberated. Across the country, thousands of hectares of degraded landscapes are being restored through collaborative efforts involving government, private sector, communities, development partners, and the local people. At NEMA, as the institution responsible for coordinating, supervising, monitoring, and regulating all activities of environment in Uganda, we continue to strengthen environment governance through improved compliance monitoring, environmental inspections, digitization of environment services, environment restoration activities, and stronger enforcement against environment degradation. We all know that despite these milestones, the challenges still remain. Degradation is still rampant, and we must rise up to the occasion to decisively and firmly respond to it. The encouraging news is that innovation is increasingly becoming part of the solution. That's why today we are here to celebrate innovations, celebrate excellence in addressing environment challenges of our time.
The keynote speaker, the Bank of Uganda Governor, Dr. Michael Ating Ego, warned that climate change is a severe economic shockwave that requires massive investments in environmental resiliency.
The theme for this year's awards, quotes, Innovation for Climate Resilience, unquote, is both timely and urgent. Across Uganda, climate change is already being felt through more frequent floods, prolonged droughts, landslides, heat stress, ecosystem degradation, and disruption to livelihoods. These shocks are affecting the households, businesses, infrastructure, agriculture, and ultimately the stability of the economy itself. For the financial sector, climate resilience is not a distant environmental concern. It is a core and a financial stability issue. When farmers lose harvests, when roads become impassable, when businesses face rising operating costs, and when communities are displaced, the consequences extend far beyond the immediate damage. They are reflected in balance sheets, loan portfolio, insurance claims, public finances, investment decisions, and consumer welfare. Climate change has therefore evolved from being primarily
an environmental challenge into a macroeconomic challenge, a financial stability concern, and a developmental imperative. So why is climate change as an economic imperative? We have experienced floods in eastern Uganda, recurring droughts in Karamoja and other cattle corridors, landslides in our mountainous regions. These are not merely environmental events. They are economic shocks that affect productivity, livelihoods, investments, and growth. And by disrupting agricultural production, damaging assets, and increasing uncertainty, they weaken household incomes, strain public resources, and undermine development gains. Climate resilience is therefore not separate from Uganda's broader development aspirations. On the contrary, the sustainability of our economic transformation will depend on our ability to build resilient infrastructure, resilient enterprises, resilient communities, and resilient financial systems. Investing in resilience today is therefore an investment in Uganda's future, competitiveness, productivity, and prosperity. The updates of the nationally determined contribution commits the country to reducing greenhouse gas emission by 24.7% by 2030. The NDC, which is the nationally determined contribution, is not merely an environmental document. It is a national development compact that calls for action across the sectors that shape the livelihoods, productivity, competitiveness, and economic resilience. Recent experience and evidence demonstrates both the progress we have made and opportunities that remain. Financial inclusion in Uganda has risen to over 80%, yet only a relatively small proportion of enterprises is engaged in agriculture, have accessed financing specifically for climate smart or green investments. Therefore, closing this gap is not simply an environmental necessity, it's an economic opportunity. So let me now talk about innovation. Innovation, which I see as a bridge between ambition and action. Innovation is a bridge between climate ambition and climate action for the purposes of this evening's event. When we speak of innovation, we must think beyond technology alone. Innovation encompasses new ways of financing, producing, ensuring, measuring risk, and managing resources to delivering services. It includes, of course, getting reliable data on climate risk-related activities. And therefore, it calls us to go for advances in artificial intelligence, satellite imagery, geospatial analytics, climate data platforms, digital finance, renewable technologies, and climate-smart agriculture. Innovation enables societies not merely to respond to climate shocks, but to anticipate them, adapt to them, and emerge stronger from them. For innovation to deliver meaningful climate resilience, it must be inclusive, financeable, and measurable, helping households to adapt, enterprises to become more competitive, financial institutions to manage climate-related risks, and public institutions to track progress through credible evidence. Uganda is already possessing a strong climate policy and sustainable finance architecture. The principal challenge before us is no longer a strategy design, but it is implementation. So thirdly, effective action depends on the visibility of risks. So put simply, we cannot manage what we cannot measure. Without reliable data, climate risks cannot be appropriately identified, they cannot be priced, managed, or mitigated. This is why at the Bank of Uganda, we are now supporting the adoption of internationally recognized sustainability disclosure standards, the implementation of the National Green Taxonomy, and the strengthening of climate-related reporting frameworks across the financial system. We are going to require that all the financial institutions come January 2028 should have begun disclosing all the sustainability-related risks and opportunities, and also all the climate risks and opportunities in their activities. And we are also guiding them that since the country has got what we call the Green National Taxonomy, their lending is going to be guided by the standardized classification systems that defines which economic activities are available so that they can finance environmentally sustainable projects, so that the financial institutions will be directed to finance towards climate change mitigation and adaptation.
The chief guest, Minister of Water and Environment, Major General Kahinda Otafire, urged Ugandans to vacate protected ecosystems and wetlands.
Now, if we don't seriously take environmental concerns into consideration for our generation and the next generation, the damage we do today is a result of selfishness. We want to prosper at the expense of the children of our children. If our forefathers, our forebears had damaged the environment, would we be here? No, we wouldn't. It's only imperative that this generation and the next generation preserves the environment for purposes of the future. If we don't want to do that, then we should stop producing. We should cease procreation and say we are selfish. It's we and us alone, and terms the future. But for as long as we have children and the children of their children, we have an obligation to ensure that we preserve this environment. Unfortunately, the African peoples are not the worst polluters. Our contribution to environmental damage is minuscule. The scientists know the percentage. We are being asked to preserve the environment when we are not the polluters. We are being told to grow trees when other people are strictly increasing the economic activity and profitability at our expense. And when climate comes down harshly on us, we suffer equally like the major polluters. So it's time for the African people also to stand up and say, wait a minute, all of us are doing damage, and the more damage you do, the more you should be liable for reparation, to repair the environment we damage. When I was Minister for Environment, I went to New York and there was a conference, and we were discussing about the environment. I looked at people talking, and they're very wise. Very, very wise. They speak good English, and we admire them. And we think speaking English is a sign of being intelligent. But unfortunately, I've been in Britain and I've seen a lot of people speak English who are not as clever as some of you. Then I said, now what do I tell these human beings? I said, no, put up my hand. I said, you idiots from Africa, what are you saying? I said, now since you are spoiling the environment for purposes of development, we are also going to spoil so that we also know, and then we shall see where we shall end. We also could spoil down there. They said, oh, no, Africa, you must not. I said, no. For instance, for us in Africa, we don't put flowers on our tables when we are going to eat. It's not because we don't love flowers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's because people in Europe, in extreme conditions, spend 7 months without seeing flowers. That's why they appreciated them. Here, when you go to Tesco, you find the Tesco cutting flowers because they are weed. The flowers are weed. They are nuisance. That's why when these Africans come to town, when they come, I was teasing the governor back of Uganda. He gave him a tree and I said, why are we putting the whole place is tamak and cement. We don't appreciate green because we live in the green conditions. The flowers, they're everywhere. We catch them every day. Now, not until...
UBC, inspiring Uganda.